Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die.
And we are back.
Thank you. Listen, y'all see I'm in the matrix, right? But welcome to your Thursday night talks. So I want to first start off in the most holy name of Allah, bearing witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet you all in the greeting words of peace in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Sister Kalila.
And again, welcome to your Thursday night talks, hosted by the Seventh Region Coalition, where we're always doing what? Helping to save lives.
And Sister Kalila, if it is your Thursday night talks, then that implies ownership, right?
Ooh,
And when we
absolutely.
own a thing, what
Right.
should we do? Go ahead and display it. We need to subscribe, we need to like, we need to share, we need to copy the URL, share it with a couple of friends, with a couple of family members that we absolutely care about, because this program is for you. And I'm gonna do it like Oprah in that video. You and you and you and you. Have you seen that video before?
I
Yeah,
saw.
it's for all of y'all. Share
Right.
it with whoever you
Absolutely.
can, dear family, because we're about saving lives, and we're
Yes.
looking forward to saving some lives here tonight.
And speaking of lives, this is a very important and dear um and I know I always say these programs because they're very dear and near to my heart, especially when we are talking about saving lives and the preparation of saving lives, which is very vital, because as you see, there are so many calamities that's going on and taking place, and a lot of them was not even prepared, did not even know how to even get out of the bounds of whatever situation or circumstances that they were in. But this show is going to actually provide some form of guidance and some form of security, especially the mental security is very important. You know, you can have the physical security, but if your mental is not intact, then whatever you have packed, ready to go, that doesn't mean anything if your mind is not focused on what is going on around you. So before before I'm sorry, my family is coming in. I'm sorry. And they're just blowing me kisses all. I love y'all too. Just blowing me kisses all through the office. But just definitely please tune in, please like and please share this vital information So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Brother Tony, in regards to sharing this vital information in regards to our ministries.
All praise due to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness to the oneness of Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the Supreme Being, to whom holy praises are forever due. I am forever thankful to Almighty God Allah for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I thank them both for the Honorable Minister Luz Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Buenas noches, sak pase, abaragani, free the land, black power, brown power, red power, whatever power. We're seeking power.
Right.
Welcome to your Thursday night talks, which is spearheaded by the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives. We're very thankful for our student regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad,
That's right.
for assembling us as a force. Since in our anniversary is coming up, Sister Khalili, we want everybody to tune in next week in regards to our anniversary. We
it's
were
our anniversary. Okay, I'm sorry.
My name is Tony. Well, you
right, there you go.
Tony.
There you go.
Anyway, you just messed me up. Anyway, no, but next week you want to tune in because it is our anniversary. We were assembled soon after the Criterion message of the Honorable Minister Luz Farrakhan, in which he was guiding us not to take a dangerous experimental inoculation introduced by our open enemy. And it's that experiment has taken a lot of us out. It's caused a lot of health issues among many of us. We do need to make a future program, Sister Kalila, in regards to safety when it comes down to vaccines. What are the best choices we can make when it comes down to our families, health-wise? We need a couple of programs like that, but be sure to tune in next week, beloved family, as you are tuning in here tonight. It's very vital that we all stay committed to the cause of saving lives, as we have been since July 4th, 2020. We are still on the mission of saving lives, and we're doing it now through the medium of expression of the 9 ministries introduced to us by the Honorable Minister Luz Farrakhan soon after in the midst of the Millions More movement back in 2005. And tonight, Sister Kalila, we are focusing on 2 ministries. And the first ministry that we're going to be focusing on is the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education is responsible for the mental and moral development of the members of the society by means of formal instruction in a prescribed manner over a prescribed period of time, in a system of learning ranging from preschool through primary through advanced academic levels, culminating in the conferring of academic degrees under the direction of a National Board of Education. In addition to academic instruction, students shall receive teaching and training in the way of righteous conduct, decency, and self-respect, with the goal of making a better nation of people. The second ministry we're focusing on here tonight is the Ministry of Information. The Ministry of Information is the central agency which provides services that include the development of all sources for informing the public of the policies, plans, and strategies necessary for the free flow and accessibility of information essential to an informed and empowered citizenry. This includes collection, research, and dissemination of current events, history, analysis, the publication of books, pamphlets, magazines, and use of the internet and social media. It is also responsible for the development of information systems and networks to secure internal and external communications, media program development and management, and establishment of an Office of Media Affairs and Press Secretary. With that, Sister Kalila, I hand it over to you to introduce tonight's guest, who is no stranger to Thursday Night Talks. Sister Kalila, you're on mute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Sister Kalila. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Now we
Good.
can hear you.
Okay. So, this sister has been on our show before, but we have very, very humble guests. Our guests are so humble that their bio be like this small, but they have contributed to this. First of all, our nation, the community awareness, and all of the above. This sister has been a powerhouse as it relates to disaster preparedness.
Sister
And
Kalila, she's a worker for
listen,
our nation.
you hear me?
And I'm a bearer of witness to that.
Absolutely. And this is our dear Sister Tequila Muhammad. She is a disaster repair advocate and community volunteer responder for Atlanta, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Her job is to help facilitate and teach the fundamentals of disaster preparedness. She also assists the community in stocking and storing survival items while offering the e-commerce shop where you can get certain items that are on sale, and she's going to talk about what's on sale today as well for a very low price. She is also certified. Her certification is Community Emergency Response Team. So she's certified in that. And she also is currently taking her FEMA certification, which I'm pretty sure my sister probably already got it. But she also have a range of degrees as well as certificates. Her website in regards to the survivor surplus is www.ark, and that's ARK, and we're going to put it up after the show or during the show, survivalsurplus.com. You can also follow her on Instagram at Divine by Nature One. And without further ado, I would like to bring our dear sister up, Sister Tequila Muhammad. Woo!
All praises due to God. Beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
Listen, you gave me that. I was like, this is a paragraph. Look, you're supposed to have like
that does you no justice.
You're supposed to have a 2-pager. But praises be to Allah for your humility and carrying on 1,000 hats. But we're going to definitely get it started. Just really simple, because right now, again, we are dealing with things that are going on. And unfortunately, it's not going to get any better. So how do we prepare for that, right? So just a quick question, just to kind of start the conversation. And I know this all depends on the size of the house, but how much food and water do we need to store? Just a quick background of just the equation of food and water do we need to store in regards to a disaster?
Yes, ma'am. So I'd like to start out in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is. And I'd like to greet you all, the guests, and everyone watching with the greeting words of peace. As we say in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All praises due to Allah. And yes. Again, I want to thank you for just allowing me to be on the show. Again, I'm so grateful for the opportunity, because the knowledge is needed for, our people and our families to start preparing. And, as doom and gloom as it looks, we just have to make sure that we are doing what we need to do. And before I start out, I just wanted to go to just a quick quote that I saw in the book, The Fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which kind of sets the stage for just everything in general. So it says, it was on page 56, and it says that the Holy Quran warns us to fear a day when evil is spread far and wide, in the days of God's presence at the end of this satanic world, to bring it to naught. And he said that the only few people who can enjoy peace of mind and contentment in this day and time are the elect of God, though they are persecuted from city to city and falsely accused and denied credit due to them because of their righteousness in the midst of the wicked who have ruled the world. So I just wanted to add that because that kind of sets the stage. And just to start us out, we can jump right into it. Just making sure, listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I started reading Fall of America at a very young age, 7 years old. It scared me half to death because I did not understand. All I saw was mother plane, bombs, the weather, storms, earthquakes. And as a child, if you don't really have a thorough knowledge of what that means, you fear that. But I prayed to Allah at that age, and I said, Allah, can you allow me to make it to an adult? By His grace and mercy, He let me make it. My mom also was into disaster preparedness as well. So she was a mother of 4 children. So she made sure that she had all that we needed in our homes. Anytime something happened, we had basements back then. So we were able to go into the basements and just, I felt secure because I knew that if something was to jump off, like we had so much that we would be able to survive. So I took that same mindset. I'm a mother of 7 children from ages 3 to
12. See, that should be in the bio.
Another one, but I sent it kind of late. But yeah, I have 7 children from the ages 3 to 19. And so my thought was just having children that if something does happen, when that time comes that we already know is coming, we want to make sure that we're prepared. So I've always had the mindset to make sure that I not only prepare my family, but what does it look like to have my family prepared and my neighbors are not prepared and the believers are not prepared and my family members are not prepared? That didn't make sense because then they're coming to me. They're going to come find me.
Right.
The goal to any knowledge that I have to study this, and it was a passion of mine. To study it and to get it to our people. And so to start us out with how much food we should have, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his books and lectures, and the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan stated that we should have a bare minimum of 3 to 6 months worth of food in our home at each time. And so I always tell families, everyone eats different. So you can do this right now with modern technology. Go to chats, type in, if you have beans, how much you have 4 people in your house. You can put in how many members you have, how many days you want to survive, and it'll break it down 100% for you based off your family size. So we want to utilize the amount of technology to have everything broken down to us.
Praises be to Allah. Okay. Praise be to Allah. Thank you.
Sister Tequila, just see, in light of what you're talking about right now, natural disasters, we have been for many months, about 77% of the country has been in a condition of drought. And that's not factored in the mind as being a natural disaster. That is a natural disaster. We just experienced a heat wave this past week. And it's just crops get affected. Food becomes shortened as a result of those kind of things. So I want to, in regards to natural disasters, Tequila, as of May 22nd, there have been 724 tornadoes so far.
That they can count.
That they could count in 2025 in the United States. At least 35 people have died as a result. Tornadoes are very spontaneous, and there is very little that we can actually do in the heat of the moment to prepare and board up our homes in comparison to a hurricane. However, what are some of the ways that we can better prepare in the event of a tornado impacting our homes?
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. So the first thing that you want to do is start with an emergency plan for your family, just knowing where that safe room is in your family. or in your house. So, for example, if there's a tornado and somebody says, "Oh, it's a tornado coming," everybody's running all around the house trying to figure out where they're going to go. The children don't know what to do. Just like in the fire, you have children, if you don't teach them where to go for a fire, they'll go into the closet, they'll go under the bed. Because so you have to have these actual experiments in your house. You have to actually have, you are practicing on a regular basis to make sure that everyone knows what to do. And you need to time it. How fast does it take everyone to get to that space? If you have that windows, so a bathroom that doesn't have windows, a closet that doesn't have windows. I don't really recommend garages, but if that's the only place that you can go that does not have windows, you can do that. But yeah, you want to find that. And if you don't have a room that doesn't have windows, then you want to go into the one that has the least amount of windows or anything that can crash onto you. And you want to basically bend down, cover your head if you know that the tornado is approaching. You have small children, you need to make sure that they're secure with you or with the biggest or heaviest person within the household. But yeah, you want to make sure you're doing these drills. You want to have a keyword. If you say tornado, they need to know that you're not talking about a game or something, or you're funny. They have to know, okay, it's real serious. Let's go. One of the other things you want to have is a helmet as well. I always tell you have the helmets. I'm just going to show you an example because we get this too with CERT, but you can get them from anywhere. It's just like hard hat helmet that you have, because the biggest thing that happens when something falls on you is your head isn't protected. So, your child's head protected, you want your head protected, because if you get knocked out, that's it. You can't do nothing for anyone else. Your children can't do anything, and then that's a whole nother level. So you want to find a spot that doesn't have windows. You want to make sure that you close the door. Everybody knows that they need to bend down, put their heads down, and just wait for that tornado to pass. You also want to keep a eye on your lips at all times. You always want to have your lips as you're in this space. If you're able to have like a mattress or something soft to kind of be over the heads, especially the smaller children, you can do that. But if that's not available, just find a small space where you all can be together. But just make sure that we're practicing these things, timing how long it takes, making sure that everyone knows, they can hear you. If the rooms are upstairs and these children have loud music playing or TVs, you need to make sure that they are able to hear that signal that and then we need to get into cover.
Praises be to Allah. Thank you so much. What are the most common mistakes that are made in emergency situations, and how can we avert these types of mistakes?
The most common mistakes that are made is first not being prepared. That's the first. Not being prepared, not thinking that it's going to happen to you, not even having anything or even any thought, not planning these emergency trainings that you should have in your houses, and just kind of just letting it just be, because we know that we're living in a time. And I mean, even a blind man can see that we're living in the fall of America. We're experiencing things we've never experienced. We are dealing with, like you said, the heat, and all these disasters used to come here and there, but now they're back to back to back to back. Allah is showing us that he's taking it down. And so if we're practicing, actively studying, actively preparing ourselves, that's really the biggest thing that you can do wrong. There's free training classes in your community. They have the American Red Cross CERT. I always try to recommend CERT, and that's Community Emergency Response Team. You take that training class, it's like maybe 8 weeks or so. They give you tools, they teach you, so many things about how to like wrap up a body, how to use a tourniquet, what happens if, someone dies, what do you do? How to assess a situation. Like, they give you the keys. If you're the first person on scene of any disaster, you might be the person that has to take on the hat of that disaster at the time. You might be the only functioning person, but if you're not trained, then you're going to be looking for who? So we have to make sure that we're doing what we need to do in this time, so that when that time comes, if we have to get up and we can just move without, feeling so much anxiety and fear because we haven't prepared ourselves.
Praises be to Allah. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that.
All right. Sister Tequila, in case the electricity goes out.
Mhm.
What are some devices we should invest in besides generators in order to ensure having power during a disaster emergency? And that's also besides candles.
Yes, sir. Besides candles, some items that you can have. So I tell everyone, this when the summer starts to end, they have these solar lights that you put in your yard, right?
Mhm.
Those are perfect for lighting in a disaster. Those are perfect for children because they're solar powered. You can set them in the sun and then you can bring them in there. So they'll light up a bathroom, light enough for where you can use the bathroom. You can put it in your kitchen. So I would recommend getting those. They have them at Dollar Tree, they have them at Walmart, they have them at certain stores. That's one thing. You definitely want candles, but I don't recommend candles as much. It's kind of like a last resort. Those are
Right.
more in the winter time when it's really cold and you're trying to keep it warm. But they have lanterns, like oil lanterns, kerosene lanterns that you can use that are really
Why?
long. And again, they have all different type of LED lights, tap lights, touch lights, battery operated lights. So what you want to get is anything that can be battery operated and that can last for a while, that can last for some hours or days, where you don't have to use regular electricity. If you don't have a generator, generators have to use gas or sometimes solar. So I would just recommend any battery operated lighting would be your best bet in a case of an emergency.
Thank you, sis. I mean, and listen, can we just pause for the calls? I want everyone who the sound of my voice to please like and share this. If you don't actually understand how important this is, because right now there's warning before destruction. And right now, this is the warning. So please, whatever you're doing right now, please like, please share. We do have this on Facebook as well as YouTube and Twitch. So please like and share. And thank you for that. That quick, break on reality, of course. Sister Dequela, the kind of foods that we should store. I know that you specify a lot of the people that's in your household pretty much share a little picky, or they don't eat this, but this person eats this. Like for instance, my husband eats um, meat, but I don't eat meat, nor my daughter eats meat. What type of food should we store in our house?
Yes, ma'am. The type of food should definitely be high in nutrition and
Mhm.
should be able to have the protein necessary for you to go without food if you just have to fast during that time. So, of course, I'm always going to tell everyone your staple goods, with your navy beans, your lentils, and flour, of course, salt, sugar that you have separate because you can make other things with those items. So, if you get
Mm,
those items bulk, you can make tortillas with it, you can make bread with it, you can make rolls with it, you can make different things with that. So you want to have the basics of all your staple goods, and then you
mhm.
can have freeze dried or dehydrated foods and fruits. You can have canned foods, so you can get your soups if you have an opportunity to can or pressure can your foods, which is very important nowadays.
Mhm.
Shout out to my sister Canning with Colette. Make sure y'all check out her so that you can have the to learn how to can if you don't know, for men and women, because it's definitely necessary. So if you're stuck in your house, you want to be able to have something you can grab if you're not able to actually use your stove or cook, or you don't have the means to. But you do want to have vegetables. So if you can right now, I've canned carrots, green beans. I mean, you can can potatoes, all these different things that you can do now while you're able to get access to the food. Because if we wait, what's going to happen is that we won't have access to anything. So even if you wanted to start preparing later on, the stores will shut down. One of the things
Mhm.
I hear a lot is, oh, well, I'm going to just go to the store and I'm just going to come, somebody said, I'm going to come and get your stuff. So I
Mm,
is, I said, the way that a lie is coming in this world, you better be happy if you make it alive outside of your house. So just
mm,
that thought, a lie is not playing. So you're not going to be able to make it to me to get my thing. you might not be able to make it to the grocery store. And if you make it to the grocery store, the store is going to be shut down. It's going to be closed. So people are going to be looking at their credit cards. They're going to be having hundreds of thousands of dollars on their credit cards, but you can't buy anything. Thought that money could be what you need. So right now, those who are going to be the ones that are going to be saved, the ones that's actually preparing. And you don't have to be, I tell everyone I'm not a prepper. I don't want to be called a prepper because that's not what I am. What I want to be is your sister who's giving you this call. I don't know why this purpose has been on my heart and spirit, but this is, I believe, the purpose that Allah has put me here to do. But that is to help what we need so that we can make it through this dark hour that we know is approaching.
Praise to Allah. Thank you, sis.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be broadcasting what we have in our homes.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
No. We need to secure our home. Then information needs to be secure. But Sister DeQuela, another question: What do you need to secure in your disaster supply kit now, or in your car in case of an evacuation?
Yes, sir. So I always tell everyone to start out with a go bag. And so a go bag is basically a bag of items that you'll put into a case, a book bag, a plastic bag, whatever you have at the time, because I don't want it to be like you got to go out and spend all this money. Whatever you have in your home that you can use, but it'll have 72 hours worth of items that you need to survive. Because after a disaster, it's the first 72 hours that's the most crucial. And that's why we say 72 hours. Because there's no way that you can carry 6 months worth of food in your backpack and 6 months worth of items in your backpack. So you only want to focus on the first 72 hours because you're going to need, of course, change of clothes. You're going to need food. You're going to need water, and you're going to need first aid. Those are the main things that you're going to need. Everything else will be extra. So if you have room to fit your flashlight, you have room to fit your passport, the IDs, and all those extra things in your bag, ponchos and things like that, you can, but you want to have the basic food, clothing, and shelter to be able to make it through, and first aid to be able to make it from point A to point B. That's the start. But then when it comes to your house, you have a lot more leeway within your home. So you definitely want to start with having a lot of water in your home. You want to start with your staple goods. And I tell everyone, you want to get the 5-gallon buckets. You want to get the 5-gallon bucket Mylar bags. And you want to pour your staple goods in those bags and store your items in those buckets. And in the front of the bucket, you just push bucket flour, the next bucket salt, the next bucket navy beans, next bucket lentils. That makes it easy for everyone to be able to find it if necessary. And then it also helps you to be able to ration what you want to ration. It also helps you to kind of see what you have. And it also helps you protect your beans and everything from the elements. So if you don't have your beans in buckets and you have your beans sitting in those bags, like so many people I know, they're just sitting there. Imagine if a flood came in, and you are not able to, all your beans get wet and all your food gets wet. You just wasted all your stuff. So if it's in buckets and it's sealed properly, or you get the gamma seal lid, which seals it in, then now you have protected your food from water or bugs or whatever, could happen at that time. And then your car, you also want to have a kit in there that's about 72 hours in case you're stranded on the highway, because this has happened. Last year in the wintertime, people were stranded on the highway. And you may use the bathroom. So they have, I have the portable toilet that you can have in your car, because the emergency is an emergency. You might have to get in that back seat and use that bathroom because you're stuck on the highway. What are you going to do? Get outside of your car? You're going to need active clothes. You're going to need some food in your car. You're going to need water. And the thing about all of this is that you want to make sure you're rotating it. So I've had people come and say, stored up all these things and all my stuff went bad, because you're not using it. You're supposed to be using it as you go along and replacing what you use so that you have the freshest items in your house at all times. So we're not going to buy beans 20 years ago and we still got those beans sitting in our house. That's not how it should be. We should be using what we have constantly so that we can replace it with new. So if something were to happen, we have the newest items in our homes.
Okay, Tequila, I need you to get out my house. I'm sorry. I'm just these are my confessions. Okay, so so we need to get those old beans out of the house. This. Hey,
You're
I
you're
know.
you're tuning into my thoughts, Sister Kalila, because my question is how old is old when it comes down to beans, sugar, all the items that you were talking about. If they're sealed nicely, compressed in those kind of buckets that you described.
If they're still properly, I would say maybe 5 years. That's just how I look at it. Now, we do have like dehydrated or freeze dry food that can last up to 20 years. I believe has been tested. However, the food that I have, I typically don't go over 5 years. If it gets close to like expiration dates on certain things, I go ahead and donate it before it gets bad to someone else. Just have to throw it out. But pretty much for me, I'm honestly always using my beans. I'm always eating navy beans. I'm always eating lentils. So I don't buy too much of what I don't need. If I'm not going to use it, so I don't want to have 16 bags of black beans in the house. I don't eat black beans like that. So why would I buy them? Because they're going to just sit there. So you really want to just, and if you calculate 3 to 6 months worth of food, it sounds like a lot, 6 months, but it's really not a lot of food. It just depends on how many people you have in your home. The canning will take up more space as far as you needing to have enough food for everyone in your home, because those jars are but a certain amount, a certain size, and you have to have a lot of those jars. But although I love canning, the thing about canning is if there's a tornado or earthquake or something, those cans and jars can break. So that's why we have to revert to having other options to be able to secure our food and store our food in our homes.
Sister Wanda just commented something. She's now in your city, Sister Tequila. Sister Wanda. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Wanda. She mentions it. She's OG 7th Region Coalition.
Absolutely.
She says here, while you can use Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and it will last 25 years. Do you have any experience with that, Sister Tequila?
Yeah, so that's more so for like the freeze-dried foods and the dehydrated foods for sure. As far as like your regular staple goods, I haven't lived to test it out for 20 years. So I'm not sure how long it is, but I know that I did have beans that I have stored in Mylar bags. They do pretty good. You can still use them and eat them, but still get stale after a certain point, just, from sitting. So again, I wouldn't throw them out if you just know you need to have them. But if you've already had beans sitting 20 years and they have not been stored properly, I would probably throw those beans out.
Yeah. Yes. And it's so funny because my mama, may Allah be pleased with her, she got so mad when I was like, Mom, these beans look like little raisins. They old. Go on, throw them away. Now, don't beans still some good. I say, Mom, but they not.
You still make them work.
I say, Mama, I'm not.
5 hours and they still not gonna get soft. But in the case of you do what you got to do. But why would you want to, beans that long? However, you can use a pressure cooker and it may do what it needs to do for that in the case of an emergency. So if you just gotta hold on to those beans, then hold on to your beans. I'm not telling you to go in there and just throw all your beans away. I'm just saying that the quality of your beans would be better if you had them within the last 5 years. Try to keep your food rotated in and out for the next 5 years.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Sister Tequila, what are some of the top do's and don'ts in an emergency situation?
I just saw a brother, he posted about that online. One of it is not keeping your car on, your tank on half a tank. And that's hard for a lot of us. Sometimes you just, if you're leaving work, you're just tired. You're like, I just got to get home. And, like he said he went into the city, he was waiting, and then it was a nationwide power outage. And everything shut down. The gas stations, the city was shut down. And so this is why it's important to make sure, even when you're tired and even when you feel like, I just don't feel like doing it, don't wait to do what you can do today. Because if you prepare today, then you don't have to suffer tomorrow. So make sure that you have that survival kit bag. Make sure you pack it. I mean, again, you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money, but use what you need around your house and just start doing it. And if you have children, you can make it a fun activity for the children to do together. It's like, everybody go get them a pair of clothes. Everybody go get them a flashlight. Everybody go get this, to make it something fun where you at least have it started. And if you set the bag right there and okay, I'm starting on it, you'll start to think about it a lot more. And with everything going on, you'll think about it more. Some other do's is just make sure that you're rotating your food out. Make sure that you're stocking food. Make sure that you keep water. You know, I've been at houses where I had to assess their survival kits, and you best believe they ain't got no water. They got 1 gallon in the refrigerator. And I'm like, who's supposed to survive and how long are you supposed to survive? Well, I got water in my faucet. Now, what if there is an advisory that says that you can't drink that water in that faucet? So what are you going to do? And you need water for cooking, for cleaning, for washing, for sanitizing. You need water for everything. So if you can go out, every time you go out, make sure you get a gallon of water. Make sure if you have clean water now, go ahead and just get containers and fill your containers up. If you have access to well water, you in the game, but still you want to make sure you fill your well water up, because like you said, we're in a drought. So a lot of the way he can make anything happen. COVID came out of nowhere. So we can say today, oh, we're going to have water and we're going to have food, but a lot can be like, bam, and anything can happen to where we can't touch the water or we can't go out and get food. So we want to start doing what we need to do today.
That's right. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. You know, we have to listen. We have touched a lot in this very short period of time, and I know that you mentioned about the storage and the options of the food, and I want to kind of reiterate in regards to not only the food storage, but long-term options in regards to food storage. What are long-term food storage options?
Yes, ma'am. So the freeze dried, of course, is a long-term option, but you have to find someone that does the freeze dried or sells the freeze dried or have a freeze dryer, and they're very, very expensive. It's very expensive to get the products that is used for the freeze dryer. But there are, we have the staple goods program. They do sell like the freeze dried navy bean soup. And that soup comes already packaged with everything in it, the vegetables, everything. And it's like a powder, but you put it in water and it kind of expands, and it's like a puree bean soup. It tastes so good. You all should get that anytime, you know, if you're able to access the staple goods, get some of that, because you can also put a pack in each of the survival kit bags, which is what I do when I make bags. Do the buckets of your salt, your sugar, your flour. You know, you definitely want to have a lot of flour. Again, you want to look up different recipes that you can use that don't require like a lot of heat or a lot of, you know, anything to cook. You want to have simple things. I do soups, again, canned soups, canned vegetables, jellies, jams, different things that you can just open up and don't have to actually cook too much, but you do want to have like a pressure cooker, because the pressure cooker will allow you to cook something if you do have access to heat in less time. So you can make like a pot of bean soup in 25 minutes on, you know, with a pressure cooker with less water and things like that. So you want to just be mindful of that. But they do have little lentil soups. They do have different types of freeze dried. You can dehydrate your own food and put the oxygen absorbers in it. And, you know, just make sure you're checking it on a regular basis every 6 months or a year to make sure that there's no mold on it, there's no bugs in it. And pretty much a simple diet is what we're told is best for us. So we don't really need to have all these different type of things. And I do recommend you not going to these stores and buying these pre-ready containers of food, because a lot of them have a lot of high things that we shouldn't eat. So one of them I just looked at in Costco's. First of all, I got pork in almost all the products that was in there. Is pork in there. Then they have high salt, super high sugar content. They have different type of chemicals in it, you know, the yellow 40 and yellow 5 and red 40, all this stuff in there. So they're talking about you wanting to survive, but the food is not going to help you survive long, because the nutrition that's in it is not good for us. So we're better off getting simple things that's going to help us to be able to last longer. So when you have pureed navy bean soup or lentil soup or something that is already with all the vitamins and minerals you need, protein shakes, have your vitamins, things like that, you'll be able to survive a lot longer than you would trying to get these ready-made things that you don't even know what's in it.
Says DeQuella, what comes to mind is that, like, in the middle of a heat wave, or let's say, you know, a hurricane comes and it's hot, and here we are, we have foods that's stored that have high sodium content. That's not going to help us in that kind of situation, especially if we're running low on water.
Right.
How much water per person? You mentioned to prepare. How long again? 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months is the recommended amount of food that you should
Right.
have in your
So
homes.
how much water per person in the event of that kind of emergency should we have stored up in our homes? We're not going to be, of course, guzzling up water like how we normally do, if we're doing that. But how much water should we have per person in those kind of situations?
I mean, they always say the 1 gallon per person per day, which I always advertise that because that's bare minimum, of having that. But however, you do have to double and triple that when you know that you have children. But like you just mentioned, you're not going to be drinking water like that. We know how to survive when it's that time, but we have to practice that because we do know we have to ration water. If you have 1 gallon of water, and like for me, I have 7 children, there's no way that 1 gallon of water is going to last. It's not, because I use 1 gallon of water in my bean soup when I make bean soup for a big old pot. So I know that that's just the bean soup. They need water for drinking, cooking, cleaning, and other things. But again, we're talking about survival, so we know we're not going to be able to have that much. But that's the starting point, is the 1 gallon per person per day. So if you have 3 people in your house, you want to start that way. But I do recommend, like, families who don't want to store a lot of small jugs of water to go get the 5 gallon jugs. They're like the big blue jugs. You see them sometimes at the front of like Home Depot or Walmart or something like that. You can go to any store and get them, but you can get the jugs offline on Amazon and fill them up yourself with your well water or your own water if you want. But you should start filling those up because that's 5 gallons. They last longer. You can find somewhere for them to sit. Make sure the containers are BPA free. And just start out with that, because we don't want to get you overwhelmed by saying, oh, you need to have 85 gallons of water in your house, because that's going to be overwhelming. So I just tell everyone to just start with the basic of water that you can have to start out. And then when a disaster happens, you can fill up your tub, you put ice in your freezer, you get buckets of water. You can try to find other ways to use water for like your plumbing and things like that. But for survival, you want to have at least 1 gallon per person per day.
Praise be to Allah.
Praises be to Allah. Well, with our segment, we always want to kind of bring it home. And the way we do that is with the knowledge corner. And with the knowledge corner, when you gain knowledge, you gain power. And our knowledge corner today is really not a stranger to this show. It's basically prepare or else. It's just as simple and plain as possible. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad always taught us just to keep it simple. Things don't have to be that complex. We don't have to be all, making all type of extravagant dishes. Just keep it simple. The simple you keep it, the more you will survive this whatever is going to come our way. And with that being said, we're going to turn it over to Brother Tony to give us some guidance and some tools in regards to survival.
Praise be to Allah. Sister Kalila. So there are some real benefits, as Tequila has been speaking about this, in being prepared.
Yes.
Being prepared can reduce fear, anxiety, and losses that accompany disasters. With this, Sister Kalila, I would add, you have to exercise prayer on a consistent level in the midst of a disaster,
right?
In order to minimize any potential high levels of anxiety. Serious mistakes could be made when we do not center our lives on Almighty God, Allah. So communities, families, and individuals should know what to do in the event of a fire and where to seek shelter during a tornado, just like how we do in schools and in businesses where there are drills. In the case of an emergency, we should be practicing that in our homes, as Sister Tequila mentioned earlier. Everyone in the home should be ready to evacuate their homes and take refuge in public shelters if need be. We should know all the public shelters that are nearby if need be, and know how to take care for our basic medical needs. People can also reduce the impact of disasters, flood proofing, elevating a home or moving a home out of harm's way, in securing items that could shake loose in the event of an earthquake, and sometimes avoid the danger completely. The need to prepare is real, family. Disasters disrupt hundreds of thousands of lives every year. Each disaster has lasting effects both to people and property. If a disaster occurs in your community, local government and disaster relief organizations will try to help you, but you need to be ready as well. Local responders may not be able to reach you immediately, or they may need to focus their efforts elsewhere. You should know how to respond to severe weather or any disaster that could occur in your area: hurricanes, earthquakes, extreme cold, flooding, or even in the case of a live shooter or anything of that nature. You should also be ready to be self sufficient for at least 3 days. This may mean providing for your own shelter, first aid, food, water, and sanitation. This is, of course, coupled with the 3 to 6 months worth of preparation that Sister Tequila mentioned earlier. So, Sister Kalila, that is our knowledge corner.
Thank you so very much. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting some feedback. Okay.
Sister Tequila, any reflections on what was shared in the knowledge corner?
Yes, that was everything that you said was right on time. It's very perfect. I do want to add to, just to make sure that we invest in making our own first aid kit. I am creating that. That's one of the things I'm doing right now, coming up with that, inshallah, this year. But having a first aid kit that has the actual things that we need in the case of an emergency, like the tourniquets and the bandages and things, because the smaller first aid kits don't have that. But for now, I recommend families just getting a little storage bin from any store that you can go to and start preparing your own first aid kit, and buy the things that you can offline in bulk if you can, and just start making first aid kits for your family so that you have that, because you can have all the food and everything else, but if you get hurt, you need to be able to have what you need in case the EMS, firefighters, police, or whoever can't get to you.
Praise be to Allah. Where should we store a first aid kit in our homes? I know we typically would do that like in a bathroom or something of that nature, but what would be the best location from your experience?
Well, I normally keep mine in the general closet downstairs, and it just has, I put first aid on, and I put a little tape that has a little cross on it, just so they know it's the first aid kit. But yeah, I would just put it in a general closet. If you want to put it in the bathroom, you can, but just any general closet that you can just stuck it in and just let everybody know that it's there.
Praise be to Allah. Any place that we could have easy access to it.
Yes.
Okay, praise be to Allah. With that, we're winding down, dear family. Sister Kalila had to go. I don't know what happened. But with that, Sister Tequila, do you have any closing remarks? We would like for you to promote your business in any way that the general audience tuning in could support you in what you are doing, dear sister, because you are an extremely awesome asset to our nation right now.
All praise due to Allah. Thank you so much, Brother Tony. And again, thank you, family, for listening and joining in. You can always support me. All my pages are in the Ark Survival Surplus, and that's ARK, survivalsurplus.org and .com. .com is, I somehow disconnected it from where I needed to, so I need to connect it back, but I do have both of those. And I also have a book, but before I even introduce my book, I want to make sure that you all know to get Fall of America, because when I say everything in here, it breaks down the decline of the dollar, everything that's going on right now. You can find that in Fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So make sure we're reading that to stay in tune on what's happening and what's taking place right now. And then I want to just promote my book also. This is Disaster Preparedness. I don't know if y'all can see it. 3.0. This just gives you like a 30-day breakdown of things that you can have, the different types of storms that can happen. And in the back of the book, It just breaks down things that you can do every day to start to prepare yourselves and your family in the case of an emergency. And you can find me on Instagram and social media under Ark Survival Surplus or Divine by Nature.
All praises due to Allah. Support our sister. Let's support our sister. And talking about support, dear family, we need your support, because what we do here is a labor of love, but finances are real. And so whatever we're able to donate here tonight, in light of what has been shared and the information that we present to you as the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives, which is always oriented towards saving lives and for the betterment of our people, any kind of donation here tonight or any time that you're watching this broadcast or any of our broadcasts, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you for whatever you're able to give. You can make a donation through Cash App, $ 7th Region Coalition 29. May Allah God continue to bless you all and your families. Continue to tune in to the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives. Next week, we will be back on for another program. May Allah continue to bless you all and your families. Assalamu alaikum.